Depending on how long these tariffs last, everyone in Canada will feel them. And all three territories are responding to them today. Shannon Scott has been following that part of the story for us. She joins me now live with more. So Shannon, what are you hearing?
Well, Megan, all three territories have come out saying the same thing, that they are going to stop buying American products wherever possible in the face of these tariffs. And one of the first places that people could see that is at liquor stores. The premiers of the Nunavut, Yukon, and the Northwest Territories all saying today that their territories will not be importing any more U.S. booze. This is a move many other provinces are doing as well. Now, this does not mean that things like California wine or Jack Daniels will necessarily disappear from restaurant menus and store shelves immediately. The Yukon specifically pointing out that any American products already in stock can be used up, but no new products can be brought in. But of course, it's not just booze, it's many different kinds of products. And for the NWT, it also includes canceling contracts with Elon Musk's Starlink.
You know, I've been in government trucks where there's a Starlink mounted in the box because they travel up and down the highways and they need that connectivity. But there are Canadian alternatives that we can look into as well. And so when there's a Canadian alternative, whether it's Starlink, whether it's another type of product, that's what we need to start doing. That's what we are starting to do as a government.
Now, Megan, Simpson says that this isn't going to happen overnight and the government isn't looking to cost taxpayers exorbitant amounts of money to make a point. But he says, you know, there are Canadian alternatives that can be explored.
Okay, what are we hearing from Nunavut then, Shannon?
So Premier PJ Iqaluit says that Nunavut doesn't do a lot of trade directly with the states, but in the face of this threat and with all the talk of Team Canada and breaking down trade barriers within our country, he believes Nunavut can play an important role in strengthening Canada as a whole.
And to see what we could do to bring investments into the territory that are nation building. So whether it's infrastructure like the Arctic Security Corridor, which is the Grays Bay Road and Port project, that could be dual use infrastructure that opens the market for our critical minerals, but also serves the Canadian Coast Guard or the Navy to assert our sovereignty.
Yukon Premier Ranj Pillay, for his part, he'll be having a news conference tomorrow where he'll answer questions about his territory's response. We did get a statement today announcing $1 million to be set aside to help businesses adapt to this changing economic situation. We'll get more details on that tomorrow, I'm sure. Now, of the three territories, Yukon arguably has the most to lose in a trade war with the United States. That's, of course, because of the close relationship between the territory and Alaska. We heard not long ago here on this show from a Republican Alaska state senator who's firmly against these tariffs and in fact put forward a joint resolution against them. That is still making its way through the Alaska State House and Senate. But from the Alaskans in general that we spoke to today, they seem concerned as well. We spoke to many who are not supportive of a trade war. And one person we spoke to owns a brewery in Skagway, and he's very worried about what all of this could mean.
I've been talking to people around town and in the office, and everyone seems to have a different version of what's going to happen. The thing that maybe is potentially the most concerning to us is just relationships. We were all just hoping that it was a bad dream and it was going to go away. My family and I go to Whitehorse probably once every 2 weeks, I would say. We're spending approximately 800 Canadian between groceries and just odds and ends. Sometimes a lot more and sometimes less. For the brewery, we get our CO2 and our nitrogen up there as well. So that's about, well, I don't know, probably another 900 Canadian every 2 weeks just in those commercial goods. And we're not sure what's going to happen with that. So we're just now looking at, okay, well, are we going to have to get CO2 shipped up from Seattle?
So Megan, possible pain on both sides of the border there, and I'm sure many unanswered questions on both sides too, including just how much could all of this hurt, and of course that will depend on how long it goes on.
Okay, thank you so much for all of this, Shannon.
You're welcome.